A pregnant woman asked me to give up my seat at the graduation ceremony. My sister is the first person in our family to ever go to college and get a degree. The only other person more excited for this was my grandmother, who raised us both after our parents passed. She'd worked double shifts at the hospital cafeteria for years, just to help pay for books and a laptop for me and my sister. She'd come home late at night exhausted, and still have energy to sit at the kitchen table and quiz my sister on biology until midnight. This graduation was hers just as much as it was my sister's. I made sure to go to the auditorium an hour early to grab a front row seat for me and my grandma, close to the bathroom so she wouldn't struggle now that she walked with a cane. The auditorium was already filling up right as I sat down. My grandma texted, "Waiting for parking, dear. We'll be there ASAP. Take your time, mama. I got this," I replied with a smile. Just then, an older man and his young wife walked over. The wife rubbed her hand over her pregnant belly and pointed to the empty seat. "Is anyone sitting there?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am. I'm saving it for my grandmother," I told her. Her husband glanced at the seat, then slipped his arm around her shoulder. "Look, she's pregnant. My daughter is graduating today. She can't sit in the back. She needs a seat near the bathroom," he explained in a much harsher tone. "I get it, and I'm really sorry, but my grandmother is already on her way, and she's 82 with knee problems. Maybe you can find another seat?" I suggested, but he didn't move. "You're not gonna give your seat to a pregnant lady?" he said loudly, on purpose, clearly trying to get more attention on this issue. Unfortunately, it was working. People started glancing over trying to see what the commotion was about, and I felt my ears turning red. "Can't I have the seat? My feet are so swollen. I've been standing all morning," the wife said with a shaky breath, pointing at her ankles. When I didn't say anything, the husband stepped closer, rolling his sleeves up like he wanted to intimidate me out of the seat. "Dude, what's wrong with you? You're really gonna make a pregnant woman stand?" he yelled. My throat tightened. "My grandmother can't stand either. She's gotten really weak lately and she's not even here," he said, laughing in disbelief with his arms spread wide. "But my wife is here, right now, in front of you, waiting to finally take a seat, and you won't let her." A woman behind me tapped my shoulder and gave a condescending smile. "Sweetie, just let her sit. You can find your grandma another seat when she gets here." "No way. The kid's been here for ages. Let him keep it," the man beside her said. People around us started picking sides, arguing, making this into an even bigger mess than it needed to be, and my side was losing. Just then, Grandma sent another text. "At the entrance now." I took a deep breath, put my hand flat on the seat, looked the husband in the eye, and said as confidently as I could, "I'm sorry, but this seat is taken." His face tightened. Before I could react, he grabbed the iced coffee I'd set on the armrest and dumped half on my lap and the other half on the seat. "Selfish little brat," he spat. "Hope you're proud of yourself." I sat there frozen, coffee dripping down my legs onto the floor. A security guard finally walked over to help settle the dispute. The husband started talking before the guard could even open his mouth. "This kid won't give up a seat for my pregnant wife. He's been causing problems since we got here." The guard looked at me and asked, "Is this true?" I shook my head. "No, I got here early. I saved this seat for my grandmother. I told them she was old, could barely walk. Then he spilled coffee on me," I explained quickly. When the couple saw the guard's sympathetic expression, the wife cut in, panicking. "You're taking his side? I'm 7 months pregnant. I need this seat." The guard sighed. "Ma'am, the seat is saved. Nothing more can be done. Maybe another person here could give up their seat for you," he said. But when they turned to the others in the section, they all just looked away. Even the people who supported them earlier couldn't look them in the eye or volunteer to give up their own seats. The husband puffed up his chest. "This is ridiculous. My wife has a medical condition. This is discrimination. You're all getting sued." "Excuse me," a sweet elderly voice rang out from behind him. My grandma stood there with a soft smile, trembling while she held her cane. When she saw me, she gasped, "Oh, my sweet boy, what happened to you?" She pulled out a handkerchief and began frantically wiping at the stain. Her eyes started filling with tears. She glanced at the security guard, then at the husband and wife who had suddenly gone silent. The lady behind me from before started handing us tissues to help clear up the coffee from the seat before my grandmother lowered herself onto it. The security guard gestured toward another aisle toward the back. "Sir, let's find you and your wife some other seats." They followed the guard up the aisle without another word. Grandma leaned over halfway through the ceremony. "Thank you for saving this seat. You're a good kid. Always have been."